Don't touch anything on that side. You can, from this side, it's okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Sorry, I'm already distracted. My toddler does not want to let me film this video in peace. Huru, please don't go there. I want to churn out content that feels right in the moment, meaning even if I'm having a great week, I don't necessarily want to do a week in my life vlog.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, this is fun. Okay, I'm going to...
That light.
Okay, I'll be back. I have a cold, so I know I look a wee bit crappy, and I'll keep doing in this video. And I have my tissues near me, and I have 2 children upstairs. So at any one point, this will just be very interesting. So why don't we just get into it? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing another edition of 5 things on my mind, so let's get right into it. The first thing on my mind, which became a huge topic of discussion, is the issue around Chantelle Petit's birth story. Chantelle Petit is a YouTuber. She is a new mom, and she documented her labor and delivery, and it was probably one of the most heart-wrenching videos I've personally ever watched. I thought staying in hospital for the 2 weeks I did was bad. I think she's still there. I know at the time she put out the video, she'd been there 24 days, and there seemed to be a lot of negligence. So she talked about the fact that she, went into labor. The labor was pretty extensive, and then felt like, just as the baby was coming, there wasn't the right attention. So she ended up going in, yes, she delivered the baby, but then had to have, she had a tear that needed surgery, and she was left for about a couple of hours, and long story short, she developed a fistula. And it's just, I've put up a video on fistula before, and I think I'll link it down below for you guys to understand how bad fistula is. But it was so heartbreaking because I just think a lot of what happened to her could have been prevented. And a lot of what's happening to moms going in to deliver their child, a lot of the crises that emerge from that, whether it's with the mom or the baby, you get the sense that they can actually be prevented. So it's shedding a very horrible light on maternal health in this country, access to the right services, access to the right information. I don't know where the gaps are. And then I had put up a post previously about practicing for the First Lady's half marathon, and a lot of you are also like, oh, we're not going because we don't see how maternal health is improving in the country. Now with Beyond Zero, hoping to have a chat with their offices and relay the information and concerns that a lot of you raised. And then I see Chantelle's video and I'm like, there is such a problem. And yes, we can blame it on corruption and embezzlement, but we also need to understand or maybe think about the fact that a lot of these practitioners are maybe not qualified enough. I don't know. Can we chat about this more? All I know is I'm pissed. I'm sad, I'm mad, I'm confused, I'm concerned. A lot of you are as well. And I'm hoping that at some point on this channel, I can have a sit down with experts on the issue around maternal health. It's just really bad. So Chantelle is still fundraising. I'll link her video down below. You can go to her social media and see how we can help her raise funds for the surgery that she still has to do. Very heartbreaking. So that's been on my mind a lot. The second thing on my mind is a topic that I saw trending, I think it was 2 days ago, which is toxic workspaces. It was a conversation that came about when somebody talked to an influencer about how it's such a toxic workspace where she is and how she was forced to leave and the conditions under which she was forced to leave. And then there was a ton of conversation and it was so heartbreaking. I put up a tweet saying it's shaken me to the core to see how badly people seem to be treated at the workspace. And I know there's always 2 sides to the story, but there's no denying that there needs to be a bit more education for the employer to understand that, human beings are not just a resource, they're actually human beings, and it's important to tap into that and not just look at them as, well, they're clocking in and out and they're just here to do their hours and move on. I've mentioned this book before, I'll mention it again, and I promise you Sunny Bindra is not paying me to promote his book. It's called The Bigger Deal. It is such a fantastic book because it talks about exactly what that, trending topic was about. He talks about the fact that in as much as employees need to bring their best to work, and a lot of them are entitled or lazy or just not serious, there's also a lot that employers need to consider in terms of just motivating employees or treating them right, respecting their leave days, respecting when they've lawfully terminated their contract or resigned, and not making them, suffer for some of the decisions that they have to make. Maybe they can't come to work because there's a sick child. So a lot of people were saying, oh, one day I wasn't able to come on time and I was fired, or I handed in my resignation and for some reason they said I had done it the wrong way, even though I hadn't, and I was fired. And so it's just really sad that you have to go to work in such an environment every day. Some people don't have the option to just quit, and they have to bear those toxic workspaces. So I'm hoping more employers become cognizant of the fact that in as much as it's very tempting to say there are other talented people, if these people want to complain and leave, they can leave, it just doesn't, you're not addressing the issue. You need to understand or try and figure out why your work culture is affecting the lives of so many people, why the turnover is so high. I don't think it should be taken for granted. So that's the other thing that's been on my mind. The third thing on my mind is anxiety and trauma. I put up a post. By the time this video goes up, I think I'll have put up the post a few days ago. And I just talked about the fact that I really think a lot of us underestimate what anxiety and trauma do to us. We also tend to say it's not that deep, when it actually is. The reason this has been on my mind is because there's many times I've struggled with anxiety, and especially I think in the last 3-4 years, maybe being a new mom, running a home, trying to work, trying to bring it, and it's just multiple roles and you're still trying to stay sane. And it's not as easy as it seems. And by the way, it's okay to say that. I had a long chat with a friend of mine. She's fantastic. She's a senior manager in a company and she's had tons more life experience than I have. And she was like, yes, having kids and trying to run a business and run a home is hard. And people are scared to say it because they'll think they're going to be judged that they're complaining about having a family. It's hard. It's beautiful, but it's hard. And so in my case, I think that's what brings on the anxiety. And for a long time, I was like, well, everyone goes through this, so I'm just going to wish it away. But I actually decided to start reading into it, seeking counsel for it, because it would come in waves. And when it comes, you kind of want to shut away from people and you want to ghost and you want to bury your head because it's just a lot. And the other thing I realized was when it comes to trauma, first of all, we're very traumatized as a country. And I think we need to realize that we are. Yes, a ton of countries are traumatized just based on the history they've had. I'm talking about Kenya because I can speak for Kenya in my own way. Whether it's as a result of how elections have unfolded, whether it's a result of a lot of the terrorist attacks that have happened, I think there's room to say that there's trauma. I will never imagine what it's like for the victims and survivors, but also for those who've watched it unfold. There's some trauma there. Now, speaking to someone who said, we store it at the back of our heads, but sooner or later, we will project it because we feel like, oh, okay, it's over now and we can move on. The problem with trying to move on without addressing it or seeking counseling or guidance or just talking about it with your friends and family is that sooner or later, it's going to project and you won't be able to have control over that. It might be a meltdown. It might be just losing yourself or shutting yourself away from the world for a prolonged period of time. It will project. So what I'm trying to say with this particular issue is address it. Sit down and try and figure out where it came from, where it started, how it's making you feel, and then find someone to talk to. I always recommend counseling. I know it's not very accessible for a lot of people, but there's call centers and helplines, or pray about it if you're someone who believes in that. But just try and sit down with a support group and say, this is how I'm feeling. What do you think I need to do? Don't think that your issue is minute compared to the issues of other people. Fair enough, people go through worse, but you're also going through your struggle, and you shouldn't underestimate that. When I attended Alabastra a few years ago, one of the facilitators said the pain of a broken finger is the same as the pain of a broken arm, meaning even though your pain is considered small compared to other people's pain, which is considered big, it's still pain. So you have to acknowledge that and deal with it. So that's been a ton on my mind. And I saw from a few of the comments on my Instagram post that a lot of you were like, yeah, actually, please talk about it because I don't know how to deal with it. I'm not saying I have the answer. All I'm saying is I am actively seeking answers and guidance for how to address anxiety and trauma. And I think where you can, please do the same. The fourth thing on my mind is where I am with regards to my content and my posts. And basically, yeah, as a content creator, where I am in that space. The other day, I put up a couple of posts showing the different events I'd been to. There was one at the home of Gina Dean when she was doing a farewell reception for the outgoing US ambassador. And then I went to the BBC offices to do an interview for one of their segments. And it was a very exciting week. And a lot of you were like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see the vlog. I was like, there's no vlog coming. And it's just because I just want to respect how I'm feeling in the seasons that I go through. For instance, right now, I may or may not be compelled to do weekly vlogs or weekend in my life. It will honestly depend on how I wake up feeling. If I feel like, oh, this is a pretty busy weekend and I feel like I want to capture it, then I will. Sometimes it could be a very exciting weekend or week and I just don't want to document it. And to use the very, very cliche term, I just want to be present. I do want to be present. And also, I go through seasons where I just want to have very engaging content and conversations. Like right now, I put up a video the other day on 5 things on my mind, and then I did one on the Grace Cup, which is a menstrual hygiene cup. Right now, I'm doing another edition of 5 things on my mind. There'll be 10 questions coming up soon, which is from the Vault. It's something I filmed a while back, and I'll put it up. That's just the season I'm in. I want to engage. I want to talk to people and have conversations about topical issues around me. And then maybe I'll just let my hair down and do something fun and interesting. So this is just for my subscribers and followers, and I love and appreciate you guys so much. I think it's fair that I let you know I just go with my season and how I'm feeling. Sometimes I might go offline for a bit because I am a young mom in a young home, and sometimes that gets me really busy, and I just want to focus on that. So yeah, I thought I'd mention that. I also wanted to share that because I saw the post Joanna Kinuthia put up about what makes you log off a video, and there was a ton of conversation around that. And I think a lot of content creators were kind of hitting out and saying, if you don't like the content we put up, why do you subscribe? A lot of subscribers were like, no, you could do better with quality and with content. If you have nothing to say, don't say anything. And I just think that's going to be a debate that will go on for a long time. I do think that we can address some of these issues a bit more respectfully, if I can say that. I know we get passionate about content and the content that our favorite YouTubers put out or influencers put out. But I also think that a lot of content creators are still growing and trying to figure out what they want to talk about, and they're documenting that. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. So it's like, it's a conversation that will go on for a while. Yes, the subscribers deserve good content, good quality content, good sound, good visuals. And I'm very pedantic about that, especially from now on. I mean, I know I put up some ish quality videos previously. So subscribers want that of us. And yes, that's something that we ought to work hard to do. I think content creators are also saying, give me time to mature or to grow, or to find my niche or to find my voice. And so, yeah, it's an interesting debate. I think we need to keep having it. I think it's fair that we have it. And I also just recognize that I'm in a space of, I go through seasons, and sometimes I want to talk about certain topics, and other times I just want to go offline for a bit. The fifth and final thing on my mind is on generational curses and parenting. Now, I put up a post that I didn't expect to get so much feedback on. I put it on Facebook and on my Insta stories. I met this lady, I think I was at the salon, and she's somebody I've known for a while. She's older than me, she's very wise, she has like a son who's in his 20s. And so we started talking about parenting and temperament and raising sons, and she started talking about generational curses, which, oh my God, first of all, guys, please, I am not a spiritual ambassador. Don't look to me for for answers on the Bible, etc. I am spiritual, I believe in God, and I believe He's really walked with me, and I lean on Him for answers and in life. But that does not make me an expert on the Bible, so that is just a disclaimer. She is a very strong Christian, and she was saying generational curses are real, and that's basically your forefathers and some of the issues that they faced in their time could be passed on, and that you find like maybe your son has the same temperament as his mother or father, and then his grandfather and his great-grandfather, and that in order for that to be broken, you have to, I guess, pray about it and dedicate your child in a way that they're just not carrying the curses of their forefathers. Man, it was so interesting. Wait, actually, I need to read out some of the feedback. And I think for people who are not Christian, which is fair, a lot of them were like, I don't know if that. So let me see if I can summarize some of the feedback. Somebody here said, our cellular memory has traits of our ancestors 33 generations back. Add the ancestors of everyone you've ever slept with and those of everyone they have ever slept with. That means that most of us are acting out dramas that are not even our own. What can we do about it? We should realize that everyone in your reality is reflecting back to you what is within you. So through consciously loving and healing your relationships, you can heal yourself. Wow, mind blown. That was one. Somebody else here said, I'm very confused. What's the connection between character and curses? Anyway, believing in curses, mysteries, and happenings is not my thing. What I do understand is that the answers and solutions are somewhere, and one just needs to keep looking and not give up and calling it generational curses. Fair enough. Somebody else here said, I think I mentioned as well that in the Insta story and in the post that in terms of how to raise sons, a woman or a mom needs to carry herself in a dignified manner in order for him to understand how to treat women. Somebody came back and said, I don't agree with that. And so I asked, do you think that children learn emotional stability or how to project emotions from the dad? Do men have the ability to lead by example there? And she said, absolutely, they do. Men are actually very well balanced emotionally. It's just that it looks very different from how women express emotion. We as women are not the same. You know, masculinity is different from femininity, and the push to make men express emotion like us is leading to a lot of pain and suffering for men. I thought that was very insightful. And so the conversation is actually still going on in one of the Facebook groups. And what has that left me with? First of all, I love learning. So I never put out something and I'm like, this is the final answer. I love that this generated a conversation where some people were like, this is all just mystical, mythical, weird, mysterious stuff. There's no such thing as curses. And other people were like quoting Bible verses. But I think when it comes to parenting, we're grappling on how to do it right. Yes, we can lean on our faith, but we also have to lean on guidance and counseling because it's so intimidating, it's so daunting to have these little beautiful child or children in your arms and you have to do what's right, but you're also struggling with your own demons and your own baggage. So how do you then take that out of the equation when you're raising your kids? It's been on my mind so much because you want to do it right, and parenting is not easy. Like I said earlier, it's the most beautiful, amazing thing that can happen because it just changes your life when you have these beautiful children or your child. But it's not easy because you're trying to figure out what can I do to not project my demons or my baggage or insecurities onto this child, and yet maybe that's all you know. So yeah, I think that's been on my mind. I just feel like I really want to be able to have these conversations at length, and in future maybe one day there'll be a forum where we can all do that. And I'm just always cognizant about what's happening around me and how can I parent better, but also give myself a break. A friend of mine, the same friend who I spoke to, told myself it's very hard, but you need to give yourself a break. As a parent, it's hard. You're doing the best you can. Give yourself a break because you can't figure out everything, and don't make decisions so quickly. Just take it as it comes, and as much as you can, vent and relay that to people who love and care about you. And so yeah, it's a good space to be in. I think those are the 5 things on my mind, and let me know what else you guys want me to talk about. I'm open to hearing your suggestions. Some of you have given me fantastic ones, and let's see what I can do with that. But for now, thank you so much for subscribing. We're now at 30,000 plus subscribers. I am mind blown by that. Thank you for following my journey and enjoying my content. And I guess I will see you guys back here very soon. Bye.